This video might honestly be a total fail. Hey beautiful people, it's Courtney. Today I'm going to be transforming some of my old slime, and before we hop into the video, I have a giveaway going on right now. It's running until January 31st, and I'm giving away two 16-ounce slimes to one lucky winner. All the details on how to enter are going to be listed in the description box below, so definitely make sure to check that out. They're the rules for all my giveaways. I also wanted to give a quick shout out, like I told you guys I would, to my newest merch family member, Casey. Thank you so much. You look bomb in your hoodie. I'm rocking mine today too. So if you want to get your hands on some merch or some slime, I sell both. Both are on my website, which I will link down below. I really hope you guys enjoy this video though. Let's get into this transformation. As I was going through my old slimes for this video, I was trying to come up with a concept, and I realized I had a ton of like brown and yellow and white slimes, so I really wanted to make like a waffle inspired slime. So we're gonna have waffles, some butter, and some syrup. So I'm taking that first old bread slime and this old cloud slime and mixing them together to get hopefully like a waffle color and also a really unique texture. So I knew for the waffle portion of this would definitely have to be like a very thick shapeable slime, so I knew I was gonna have to add quite a bit of stuff to it to make that happen. So the texture of this was actually really nice once I was done, but what I decided to do was add in some yellow food coloring, because as you could see, the final color was not very waffle like. It was just kind of brown, so I added some yellow to it and wanted to see what that would turn into. Next, I'm going ahead and adding in some white clay, and I knew this would also affect the color a lot, so I wanted to add this in and then make little minor adjustments to the color at the end. So I'm adding in a ton of white clay. I actually think I added in like 2 bars of clay into the slime because I wanted it to hold its shape really well, and just I tested it by doing like a slime swirl and see if it started to like melt, and it didn't. So I just kept adding clay until it got the point where it was very holdable. So I'm just adding in the rest of the clay until it's well combined. At this point, it was definitely reminding me of like cookie dough. The texture was so amazing, but again, I went in and added a ton of activator. I didn't want it to be like stiff. I still wanted it to be like a slime, but it was a little bit on the sticky side, and I just really wanted it to hold its shape. So this is where we're at, and it definitely held its shape. It's not like spreading or anything like that, but the color was still a little bit off, so I added in a tiny bit of orange to give it that more, it was kind of a little too like yellowish brown here for me, so the orange kind of helped warm up the color a bit. So that's what I did here until it was the color that I liked. So if you've ever made waffles before, you definitely know that it's different colors as you cook it, and the outside is usually a lighter color. So I'm taking a small section of that last slime and just adding in a little bit more white clay just to kind of lighten it a bit, and then I'm going to do the same thing but darken it some. So I'm taking the same clay and just adding in some brown food coloring, and I accidentally added a little bit too much, so I tried to take some off, but then this will be, that way I have like 3 different colors to play around with, because just one tone would have not really made it look too realistic. So I was trying my best here. So here is the dark tone, so I'm left with the original color, the dark tone, and then the light color, and I'm somehow gonna figure out how to blend these all together. This next old slime I had was this yellow snow fizz slime, and I think this one is gonna work perfect for the butter because it was very stiff and rippy. So I definitely wanted, again, it to hold its shape so it actually looked like butter and not melted butter. So again, I'm adding in some white clay. Just, I feel like the clay really helps hold its shape without being just plain clay. So I'm just mixing that in, and then I also, it became very sticky because of the amount of clay, so I had to add in more yellow food coloring just to make it bright again, and then I also had to add in some activator to make it not sticky. Now I just formed this into like a little stick of butter, and it actually held its shape very well. It held its shape throughout the entire video, so I'm just kind of like molding it and like tapping it on the table just to get it in this rectangle shape and trying to get it as smooth as possible to make it look a little more realistic. For the last portion of this makeover, I'm taking this old jelly cube slime, and this was like a pink lemonade theme, so this is kind of the biggest transformation. It was a little bit on the sticky side, so I added in a little bit of activator, but I still needed it to be very stretchy, so I just added in a tad bit. So what I'm doing here is trying to take out all of the jelly cubes and all of the lemon slices, just in getting the slime by itself, so then I could color it. Now, I knew this pink color would kind of help actually with the brown to give it like a realistic syrup look, and I just had to show you guys this. It was so crunchy. It was all the leftovers. Now with this remaining slime, I'm just adding in a small dab of brown food coloring. You definitely don't want to add in too much because I wanted it to be still kind of transparent, which it was great to use this slime because it was already completely cleared up, and I just wanted it to have like a brown color and not too deep and dark. And luckily the pink and the brown worked out like I thought. It ended up forming a really nice brown color, so I was super happy with that. Now, assembling this and making it look realistic was the one part of this DIY I just had no idea how I was going to do it. I had a general idea of how to transform all the slimes, but then making the waffle, this was my first attempt, and as you'll see, it was a fail. So I thought I would just kind of like crisscross them almost like a pie, and just it would make it look like those little square holes in them, and this was just like, nope. I was like, this looks terrible, this is not turning out well. And as you can see, I did use the lighter color on the edges, but I was just not liking this at all. And then what just happened as me like kind of messing this up and just starting over, I actually really liked how this turned out. So now the colors are a little bit marbled, but nothing crazy or anything like that. So I decided to try again and reflatten it, and this time I went in and added the dark color, just like, I don't know, I feel like the inside of the waffle is normally a little bit darker and then it gets lighter the closer you go to the outside. So still, I just couldn't blend the colors that well without like completely marbling them, so I stretched it again and just folded it, and it was looking more and more realistic. It honestly kind of reminds me of French toast, but that's okay. I also went in and added in a little bit more of the lighter color around all of the edges. So then what I decided to do was the best way to get a little square cut out was just to poke my finger in it, and it was as simple as that, and it actually held its shape really well. Here I was gonna try to like do some of the edges, like sometimes the edges of the waffles are like uneven. I wasn't sure about that, so I just did like one little section, but as you can see, the squares held up really nicely. This base worked perfectly and held its shape. Now what I needed to do was go in, and I decided to use makeup for this. I just used some brown bronzer and a old fluffy brush and tried to blend those colors where they were kind of marbled, just to kind of make it more seamless and natural. The browns didn't match up perfectly, but I was like, that's okay. So next I was gonna cut my butter, and it kind of squished it, so I had to go back in and reshape it with my hands and just kind of made it like square little slices of butter, and everything held its shape really well, so I was super happy about that. And then all I had to do was really finely drizzle that brown slime over top, and overall I was actually pretty impressed with how it turned out. It turned out a lot better than I thought I could do. So I don't know, here is the final like waffle with butter and syrup. Let me know what you guys think. Alright, so what did we think of this transformation? Did you think it was a success or a fail? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you're still watching, you are part of my hashtag waffles fam. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you missed my past few videos, as always, just click on over to the side of me. If you want to get your hands on some slime or some merch, all the link will be in the description box below. And don't forget to enter the giveaway as well. And I will see you guys Thursday for a brand new video. Bye!